with something that I'm super excited about. You guys know that I am a sucker for anything peach, whether it's on the face, the lips, on the eyes. I love everything peach, right? So Kylie Cosmetics recently released this beautiful palette. This is the Peach Extended Palette. You guys, it is so pretty. I knew as soon as I see it, I had to have it. Like I knew immediately when I seen this palette. I needed this in my life. I really knew I needed it. So I'm so glad I got this palette. This palette retails for $45 on the Kylie Cosmetics website. You guys know that I love KKW Beauty. I have so many products from her brand and I prefer her brand over Kylie Cosmetics. But the thing I will say that I really like and appreciate from the Kylie Cosmetics brand, they offer free shipping over $40. So I was able to get this palette for free shipping, which is awesome. I really appreciate that. I wish that KKW Beauty would also offer free shipping. I love the KKW Beauty Nude Lip Liner number 2, but I hate ordering it because I have to pay $8.95 for shipping and the actual pencil itself is only $12. It's a little bit borderline ridiculous. So I really appreciate that Kylie Cosmetics offers the free shipping and she is offering what they call Afterpay, and it is a installment, it's a loan type thing. So for example, if you guys wanted to get this palette but you didn't want to pay $45 right out of the gate, you could make 4 interest-free installment like payments of $11.25 a month. So that's pretty awesome. I think Pat McGrath's doing it. There's a few others that do it. I love Beautylish because Beautylish does it, especially on some of the higher end brands like Charlotte Tilbury or Hourglass. Beautylish is fantastic about that. So I really appreciate it when companies do that. So, you know, Kylie Cosmetics is kind of stepping it up to really allow for everybody to enjoy her products. Now, I'm not always a super fan of Kylie Cosmetics, and I'm not a fan of the Kardashians. I'm just going to say that up front. I've said that many times. I don't watch the Kardashians. It's not my thing. I love reality TV, but I'm just not into the Kardashians. However, I do love Kim Kardashian's brand. Kylie's has always felt like, to me, it was always overdone. Like every time I turn around, she's bringing out something else. Some crazy collection, it's just always like all the time. But obviously she's doing something right. I mean, she's almost a billionaire, right? Or is she a billionaire? Hell if I know. But obviously she's doing something right. For me, I feel like I can't keep up. I love everything peach, like I said. And I do have the Royal Peach palette. And later on in the video, after I swatch it, I'm going to break it down and show you guys the differences between the Royal Peach palette and this Extended Peach palette. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I'm going to do a short tutorial and show you guys how I created the look. Later on, I will come back and swatch it for you guys, and then I'm going to give you guys some comparisons between this one and the Royal Peach palette, and then give you guys my final thoughts. So, I gotta take a breath. I just said all of that and like, I felt like I was having like a James Charles moment where I just kept talking and like, you know how you can talk like super fast and you have a hard time understanding what I'm saying? That's just how I felt. Whew. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump right into the video. This is what the palette looks like. It does have this like reflective writing with her name on it, but it's really hard to see, and actually you really don't see it until the light hits it. So like if you're looking straight on it, you don't see it, but you only see it when the light reflects off of it. So that's what the actual palette looks like. And then this is what the box looks like. I kind of wish that this was on the actual palette. Like I wish that her name was outlined with that gold, because I do think that's really pretty. But, I mean, it's not my palette, so, you know, just my 2 cents, like, that really matters. So, you open up the palette, and it has this really nice thick card. It has a nice big mirror. This is as big as the palette, and then this is what the actual palette looks like. These shades are gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. This one and the bronze palette was probably the 2 that attracted me the most. I do think that Kylie has came out with a ton of palettes, and I think it's a little bit like excessive. However, this palette I was extremely attracted to just because I personally love those peach tones. You know, we all have those tones that just really attract us. Bronze and peach are the 2 tones that attract me the most. I'm gonna first take my E28 brush from Morphe. I'm gonna go in with this bright peach shade right in the middle of the palette. It has the shades here on the back, as you can see, but I don't know what, you know, what comes first. Like some palettes, this is the first shade. Some palettes, it's exactly opposite of what the palette is. I don't know, you guys. I don't know what the shade names are. I'm not even gonna try. So I'm gonna go in with this peach shade right here, kind of build up that shade in the crease and kind of bringing it out a little bit and like kind of blend it up, but you do lose the intensity of it, but it's not a very dark shade. I'm gonna go in with my M506 brush. It's a smaller fluffy brush. I'm gonna go back into that shade and I'm just gonna kind of build up the intensity where I need it. Let's go into this shade right here. So it's the second one on the bottom row. Still using my M506. I just want to kind of build up some dimension in my crease. That is so pretty. My gosh, that's pretty. What I like about it is that it's staying true to peach. So sometimes I've had peach palettes that kind of come off pink. This is staying true to peach, so I definitely can appreciate that. Now I'm gonna go into this shade right over here. It's the second to the last on the bottom row. And this one kind of has a little bit more of a pink shift to it, but I'm just gonna kind of build this right up in here in the crease. That one is a very dusty shadow. Like that one's very dusty compared to the other shadows in the palette. Lots of kick up in that shade. All right, now I'm gonna go back into that first peachy shade, that third one over, and I'm gonna bring that back to life just over top of those. My brows look terrible. Like, I just was not really in the mood to do my brows, and it shows because holy shit, they look terrible. Let's just pretend that my brows look amazing, should we? I'm in the pretend world. I like to pretend. Now I'm gonna go into this dark shade, the last shade on the bottom row, and I'm just gonna kind of build this in my crease a little bit. And I don't want to turn this look too purple, so I'm definitely just going to keep this right close to the crease. I'm going to grab my brown sugar palette from the ColourPop collection. I just reviewed this. I'm going to grab this dark brown right over here in this palette, and I'm going to go over top of that because I don't want that purple. I do not want this look to turn purple on me. I want to keep it peach, and as soon as I added that last shade, it went a little bit purple. I don't want that, so I'm just gonna take any matte brown and diffuse that into the crease over top of that purple. That matte brown like wants to stick right here, and I can't get it to move. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm trying to get it to diffuse out, and it just doesn't want to move. Can you see that spot right there? Like I keep working it, but I can't get it to diffuse out. Sometimes if you go in there and kind of twist it, sometimes it'll pull it out. There. That's a little bit better, but shapers. Okay, there are some beautiful shimmer shades in this palette, and like, I don't know which one to use. I'm just, my gosh, these are so freaking pretty. I'm gonna take my felt tip applicator and I'm gonna dampen the applicator, and how I do that, I have a makeup wipe sitting with me all the time, and so I just take it and squeeze it so that I dampen it without like spraying it. Sometimes I'll spray it, but sometimes I like to just dampen it first and see if that gives me what I want. There are some gorgeous shimmer shades in this palette, but I think the one I want to use is this one right here. It's kind of a beautiful like coppery shade, and it's the second to the last on the top row. And I'm going to pick some up on my felt tip applicator, and I'm just going to start applying this. And as per usual, I got a shiz ton of fallout. It always happens with Kylie Cosmetics and her shimmer shades. I always get fallout with her shimmer shades. Like, it never fails. They just, I mean, you can see it just falls down. I hate it so much. Now I just have a super big mess. Do you see that? Like, you can see it just sitting there. So that's a bummer. I forgot. Like, typically I will take just like a card and I will kind of go like this and then put it on, just so that I don't get the fallout because I always get fallout from her shimmer shades. Like it never fails. So I'm going to definitely have to clean that up because it's a flippin' mess. But that shade is gorgeous. So I went ahead and cleaned up this concealer. What a pain in the butt. But I did take my finger and I went into the very first shade in the palette. It's like a really pretty like gold shade. So what I did was I just kind of took this and just kind of pressed it right there in the middle. Right there where I want a little bit more intensity, and oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I'm gonna take this brush from Morphe. This is the E36 brush. It's a pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into that like juicy, gorgeous, peachy shade that I'm absolutely in love with. And then I'm gonna probably deepen it with this. So I don't know that I'm gonna put all of the shades that I used, but we're gonna kind of play around with it. So I'm gonna first put this one down here. I need a matte brown, not a purple, but a matte brown. I'm going to take this brush from Sigma. This is the flat definer brush. This is the E15. And I'm going to go into that matte brown shade in that palette that I was using earlier. We all have those matte brown, like true matte brown, and this is more of a cool tone. So I'm going to press this right up close to the lash line and just kind of smoke it in. I'm going to switch back to my E36 and I'm going to go into that matte brown. That's definitely what this palette needed. And like, I'm not into the purple with the peach, you know? It just needed that like traditional matte brown. However, I mean, you know, I'm not like super upset with it because I do have a matte brown. Everybody has a matte brown, so it's not like that big of a deal, but oh, this is gorgeous. This is so pretty. Now let's just hope that I can match the other side because that is definitely the trickiest part, okay? So I'm gonna go into this shade right here. It's the third one over on the second row. I'm gonna take this brush from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill collection. This is the JH42 brush. I just wanna do it dry first, but I'm gonna place this right here on my inner corner and just kind of dab that in. Oh, that shade's pretty. I'm going to wet that down. It's pretty. It's a bright shade, but it has that peach undertone. Ooh, it's super pretty, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love that shade. That is so freaking pretty. So this is what it looks like for a second. I'm going to go ahead, go off camera, put some lashes on, and I got to put some eyeliner on. I think I'll just use like a brown eyeliner, and I'll put some lashes on. I will come back and I will swatch it for you guys, and I will also compare it to the Royal Peach palette. So we're gonna do some comparisons and I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. I wanted to go ahead and show you guys this lip kit that I got from Kylie Cosmetics. It's the same time that I ordered this palette, and I think I got it in the shade Kylie. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh yeah, this is definitely not gonna match this eye look. Yeah, this is in the shade Kylie. Okay, so that's what the lip liner looks like, and that's what the actual lippy looks like. It's definitely way too purple for the eye look that I have going on. So I won't be wearing it with it, but I wanted you guys to see what Kylie looks like. So I think for this look, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this from KKW Beauty. This is the Nude lip liner number 3. Now you guys know that I love number 2. It is my go-to on everything, but this kind of has a purple undertone in the brown, so I think it would go good with the look that I have going on. Before I go in with the lipstick, I'm going to take a lip brush and I'm just going to kind of fade that into my lips. Sometimes I'll just wear this shade as just, that's it, like put nothing with it. I'm going to take this from KKW Beauty. This is her Peach number 1 shade. And I'm going to dot this right in the middle of my lips. I knew this lippy would look good with this look, and it actually is perfect. Like, it's better than I imagined in my mind. So, like I said, this is the KKW Beauty Nude number 3 pencil. Let me show you guys what that looks like. So that is number 3. And see how perfect it matches the dark purple. I knew it was going to be a perfect match. It has that purple brown undertone, and it is like the perfect match to the dark purple. This is the swatches, but it is the perfect match to that dark purple in the palette. This is what the palette looks like swatched. It's super pretty. So this is the first shade, and then it just kind of goes up from there. Now, I wish I could give you guys the shade names on this, but I don't know. I just don't know the shade names. I have absolutely no idea what those shades are. Like, absolutely no idea. But they are super, super pretty. This shade is so freaking beautiful. It's what I have on my lid. And then I popped a little bit of this over top of it just to bring some intensity right there in the middle of the eyelid. But this palette is gorgeous. Now, I have the Royal Peach palette here just so you guys can see. It does have similar shades. So let's compare these together. Here's the comparison between the Royal Peach palette and the actual peach palette. So obviously the Royal Peach, which is on the bottom, that has that really pretty blue shade, and it has that violet shade right below it. It has some greens in it, but the one on the top, the peach palette, is strictly peach. Like, it is true to peach, is basically how I would describe it. There are some shades in this palette that I feel like are similar. So in the Royal Peach palette, the very last shade on the bottom row, I guess is called Cinnamon. Hell if I know. I liked the Royal Peach, but I didn't really get a lot of pigmentation from that. I think her quality has gotten better. And it looks similar to this shade in the palette, this like second to last shade in the peach palette. So I'm gonna swatch them next to each other. Okay, so on the arm, this one from the Royal Peach palette is definitely a little bit darker than the one in the peach palette. The first shade in the Royal Peach palette, this one right here, kind of looks similar to the second one right here in the Royal Peach. So let's compare those two to each other. Okay, so pretty similar. This one's from the Royal Peach, this one's from the peach. Pretty similar, but this one from the peach is a little bit lighter. So this one right here, it's the first one on the bottom row of the Royal Peach palette. That one may be similar. That one is a terrible swatch. Look at that. Okay, I'm going in for the third time. Like, that has like hardly any pigmentation. Like, you have to build that shade. This shade right here, it's the first shade in the peach palette. That one also looks very similar to this one. But this one is much more rich and intensified. So this is from the peach, this is from the Royal Peach. It almost seems like the peach palette is definitely much more pigmented than the Royal Peach. I feel like the formula is better, and I feel like the shades are better. So the shimmer shades feel more intense. The matte shades are not as chalky. Like, the matte shades in the Royal Peach palette are super chalky. The one in the peach palette doesn't feel like that. It feels like it's definitely a better formula. For those of you guys that have the Royal Peach palette, I think, in my opinion, the peach palette is probably everything that the Royal Peach palette wasn't. So if you got the Royal Peach palette and you were not super excited about it and you didn't really like it, you would probably like the peach palette. I think the only thing that this palette was missing was just a dark, normal matte brown shade. But I like this palette, and being that I love those peachy tones, this palette is so right up my alley. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, this palette was made for me. It was made for everything that I love in eyeshadow. I reach for those peachy, like, bronzy tones more than anything, and if you guys have been wanting to pick this up, I don't think that you'll be disappointed. If you guys love peach shades, you will definitely not be disappointed. Like, this palette was made for you if you love peach palettes. I do love the bronze palette, but I want to say I think this is one of my favorite Kylie Cosmetics palettes. This palette is just absolutely beautiful, and it was like made for me. It was everything I need and want and love in a palette. I love the shimmer shades in this palette. I love the intensity that they give. But again, like I said in my tutorial, my negative with them is that they're always very messy and they always make a mess. Whether I go in with my finger, whether I go in with a felt tip applicator, a brush, whatever it is, for some reason, I always get that fallout, and it drives me nuts. So that is the only negative that I see as far as the shimmer shades in this palette, but I love this palette. I'm so happy I have it in my collection. I really am. So that is what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again for all the love and the support you guys show me and my channel. Seriously, you guys, oh my gosh, you guys never cease to amaze me, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day filled with love, happiness, and joy. I love you guys so much. Bye.